while living in Los Angeles, we were able to go to a couple of sitcom tapings in the area, because that's where most of them are shot, is in Los Angeles. And the studios down there and just below Hollywood area, in that area. So, but the idea was that we wanted to find out what was making these videos, these sitcoms, work. Because there's a lot that goes into it. You go there and you sit in the audience, and a half hour before the show even starts taping, you know, there's a narrator that comes out and talks to the audience, and he introduces the actors on the set, and then we get to talk to the actors. But we asked them a few questions. I was on the technical side. I didn't really, you know, not what y'all have for lunch or anything like that. I was more like, well, so do y'all tape it on 1-inch tape or Beta SP, you know? They were saying Beta SP. I mean, that was the going thing. 1-inch was okay. In fact, it was just more expensive, but Beta SP was the way to go. And it was fun. And we got to see the show taped. I remember doing when Sherman Hemsley, George Jefferson, was doing a pilot for Amen, and he was auditioning for kids to be actors in the show. So I was working boom that day. I had a boom microphone that the people walk in. I have to be on top, pointing down, just slightly in front, to get their audio and their narrations down, so we can really hear how they sound, how they speak, and how they remember their lines, and how they interact with Sherman Hemsley and other things too. But it was really an interesting feature to see that you know, the different techniques and different areas of technology is coming into play, even in a sitcom. So that was kind of fun. But you know, the video quality from the 80s, 90s, even today, changes so much. And the problem is that back in those days, it was analog. Now, I say a problem. We didn't know any better from digital, because digital wasn't out yet in the 80s. It was coming into play, but it was becoming more prevalent. And it became more used in the early 90s. So when digital started coming in, the resolution, the quality of the chips, sensors, and the tape mechanism went to card. So it was ones and O's going that way too. It was just so fascinating to see things change and get better. I mean, that dramatically, thanks to the UFOs, probably, their technology. The ones and O's have dominated the movie industry and the TV industry. So that was kind of cool to see. But I like to kind of lean that way, because I have an interest in the supernatural and paranormal, especially with the UFO side of things. So, but I can remember one time, which is not supernatural or alien, I had a call to go do an interview with Mary Hart. They wanted me to be the cameraman, DP, director of photography, on Mary Hart, who used to be on Entertainment Tonight, and I think she had her own show doing things. But this was an interview for Country Music Television, CMT. And before I left, I asked the guy at the rental house, I said, do y'all have a soft filter? He said, the last two of them that went out already. We don't have any, but we have an idea. I said, well, I do too. Is it the same one that I'm thinking of that you want to think of? And what we do is we stop off at a drugstore, and we get like gray or medium black or whatever they call pantyhose. You know it when you see it. And you cut a little circle out of a section to where it's all smooth. No seams or no hems. It's all just clean material. And you put it behind the lens. You take the lens off, you put the material behind the lens, and you get a rubber band to go around it to hold it in place on the metal part. And then you stick the lens back on, twist it on, and it acts as a filter. Because these cameras are pretty sharp. You know, with a good lens and these nice digital chips now, you got to have some kind of filter. And if you don't have it, you make shift. And that's how you do it too, especially even in Hollywood. We did that. So we put the pantyhose behind the lens, and Mary Hart was very it was very clear, but all the detailed and the definition was softened a little bit. They can do it in post, but that would mean that it would be more of a degradation possibly, or a possibility of not having the right software to work that. So that was interesting too, to see that how we can use pantyhose to help work into an interview. Okay, and moving right along. I remember one time I was called. I had a production assistant as well too. We both got to go. The Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California made a call and said, "Can you do a video for us?" And they were not vague about it, but it was told that they wanted me to fly out to Florida. Now that's all covered when it comes to the studios calling you up, or major corporations or big businesses, and they say, "We want to fly you someplace." They flew us to Florida, and where I guess it was Cape Canaveral was the area, because I didn't have a map at the time. The map is those paper things that have the roads on it. Anyway, we get down there, and we were supposed to interview several people from NASA and a couple of engineers who can talk to us about the safety portion of the shuttle, the space shuttles. I said, "Oh, okay." So now this was before Space Challenger or anything like that, where it blew up. So what we did was interview the engineers, and they said that there were times when they go out in space, and then the bay doors open up, and maybe a roll of duct tape might be floating out, possibly a ladder. So it was important to know that the equipment on the space shuttle were strapped down or secured, something to do with making sure that this, we don't have that happening right now, because we really took extra precaution on how to not make sure that these people, these astronauts, go up and are safe, because we don't want anything to open up and something come out and then fall back and hit some kind of a pressurized tube and then bust it where that's the oxygen, or that's some of the fuel, or we don't want anything to explode out there either. So safety was always a big part at NASA, and I have to agree. I mean, I'd like to see that. So, but that was another instance to use video in industrial corporate world. Even though that it's not entertainment wise, it's still out there needing to be used and utilized to make other people either educate them or make them understand how systems work, or the way things are actually produced. We have to make sure that there's always going to be issues with anything you do that involves safety, or I don't know, safety is the big one, but production wise, I don't mean video production, but anywhere from oil field to designing furniture, car manufacturing with these robotics. I mean, this is very important that, it needs to be taught. Anyway, I got more coming up too in the next week or so. We'll see you then.